GMOs, genetically modified organisms. GMOs and organisms whose genome is altered by techniques of genetic engineering. Most agribusiness use GMO in order to preserve the percentage of success in the growth and development of crops. The history of GMOs. In 1975, there was the Similar Conference, which is a group of biologists trying to make safe guidelines for genetic engineering. In 1982, it was FDA approved, which means they could appear on the market because, well, the FDA approved them. And then in 1994, they were first introduced to grocery stores where they were sold nationwide. And then in 1996, they were able to be resistant to weeds. So it means they could live longer, not get spoiled earlier than what they should be, pretty much. And then there's the pros of GMOs. They allow crops to be more resistant to drought and infestations, give people more food, regular meals, and allow farmers to produce more in quantity. And there's a better overall quality and taste. And there's a less chance of failure because the crops are modified to be resistant. So it means they'll live longer, like I said before. And the cons of GMOs is that there's no economic value whatsoever. There's environmental damage as well due to the chemicals used in the crops, and then the growth of allergic reaction in the general population. And the repercussions are nebulous and unknown. And there is research needed for more information on this, since it's a lot of money, and it can cause a mix of modified and unmodified organisms. Animals and GMO. Well, Ralph Elbenster and Richard Palmer developed first techniques for transgenic mice, rabbits, sheep, and pigs in the early 1950s. It was slow and expensive, but new technologies helped become it faster and easier for animals. And they're mainly used for human disease, produce consumer industrial products to create human therapeutic products, which is medicine and stuff like that, enhance human-animal interaction, enhance production and food quality traits, and improve animal health, which is very important because that's where we get our food. There are examples of animal GMOs. Fish, used for food and aquatic pollution sensors. Pigs, type of pig that was genetically modified. It contains DNA from mouse and E. coli, so it can digest and process phosphorus better. And then there's the sudden death mosquitoes, which is, it helps fight off malaria, which causes 1 million of deaths each year. And they're able to resist Plasmodium parasite, which means it's impossible for them to catch malaria, which is a big thumbs up, which I don't think you would want humans, but since you're trying to, you get it. Plants and GMOs, they can create new colors, create different crops. Plants engineered to discover function of certain genes, and food crops usually modified for pest disease and environmental conditions, reducing the time it takes to spoilage and resistance to chemical treatment. But then again, a lot of the plants used can cause that damage. Examples of plant GMOs. The more famous ones are corn, rice, and watermelon, I guess you could say. And the corn is resistant to chemicals and pesticides. The rice has 3 genes that are added to produce more vitamins. And then the watermelon is bioengineered to be seedless, which means, well, there's no hassle in eating anymore, guys. I eat every day. Yeah. Dab. Let's dab. The controversy. Even though GMOs are approved of being safe by the FDA, many consumers and organizations are opposing the idea of genetically modified food. The opposition's main concern is that they think GMOs are actually harmful for indigestions, which means we cannot have them. And they claim the GMOs are to blame for the increase in child sickness. Another concern for the opposition is to put labels on GMOs so we know what we're eating and everything, and that we would be able to take care in advance, I guess you could say. Another controversy is GMO supporters are saying that labelizing GMOs, they would be stigmatized as a harmful substance. These labels would crush the sales of these modified foods, which means no more McDonald's, Burger Kings, and everything like that because, well, that's not real meat. And according to the recent poll, about 90% of scientists in the American Association for the Advancement of Science consider them safe, which means there really is no harm in eating 7 Big Macs in a day. Unless, well, actually that is harmful. It's a lot of calories. I'm sorry. And in the United States, more than half of the states have considered passing a bill for GMOs, but only 3 have passed a labeling bill by now. In 2 of those 3 states, Connecticut and Maine, the bill won't pass unless it is passed by the surrounding states, Vermont. Vermont is the only state that passed the bill, and it will start in July 2016, which is coming soon. And in Europe, Bulgaria has stopped the cultivation of GMOs in 2010, and many countries such as Latvia, Austria, and Slovenia, which are not really that advanced, but they're pretty advanced.